Welcome to the return, or the reintroduction, I should say, of Tips. Was the insensitive podcast series, now it's the informative podcast series. Still a very informal and relaxed setting, however, the conversation will never be compromised. I am excited, thrilled, and very grateful that these three gentlemen who need no introduction or notification on your phone. Perfect timing.
Take it off.
Right?
Pause.
No introduction or notification. First up, we have Mevon Soodeen, a.k.a. or better known as Explicit Mevon, who has been in this music business as a producer for over a decade. He has produced legendary rhythms in the Parang sector, such as Parang sector.
Parang.
Afterwards, we're going to Saparia.
Parang sector, such as the Naughty or Nice rhythm, that has produced hits such as Happiness. He has worked with artists such as Blacks, the late Blacks. Actually, he has produced the last song, the last recorded song, I believe. That's correct?
Yeah, I recorded his last song, but the mashup song,
that's the biggest one. Yeah,
I didn't do that, but I recorded his last soca song.
Yeah. That's correct.
Yeah.
Right, we have none other than Mevon Soodeen in the building. Right? To my left, we have, of course, we Isaac Rudder, formerly known as Young Rod, as I was corrected one day. Rod has been in this business also for more than a decade. He has transcended 2 decades. 3 decades. I guess it's the same for you all your life.
Yeah.
He has been at the top of local hip-hop in the Trapso movement and has been always one of the most respected lyricists, at least in my book, in Trinidad and Tobago. Give it up, Isaac Rudder.
Appreciate you for
Right? And finally, and right in front of me, we have none other than Braveboy, formerly known as Marcus Braveboy. Braveboy has definitely been one of the most diverse and, I should say, flexible artists who has managed to stay very much local Trinidadian and himself, not necessarily being swayed by any of the influences. Granted, he is a global, no notification, is a global and well-known phenomenon in this industry. He has been pushing the boundaries of what we know to be possible in terms of networking and has always represented Trinidad and Tobago everywhere that he goes. None other than, once again, Braveboy.
He's formerly known as Makari.
I said formerly known as Braveboy. My bad.
Is he formerly known as Marcus Braveboy? That's real funny. You might formerly known as his real name.
That's Makari.
Cancel my government
Cancel our passport immediately, bro. Gentlemen, as usual, we are here taking a nice drink, and I first want to start the podcast by giving us small cheers. Give me that 1990 now. Drink that straight.
That's why I doing too, dog.
Just us. Oh, I didn't realize you poured
be like a good doctor has some patience, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Get that money change.
Please tell me when to stop.
Yeah. I just go right above the ice. Yeah, pause. Pause pouring. Gentlemen, first I want to start by a small cheers. Welcoming you all back. It's going to be...
Enough respect for us.
Right, enough respect.
By the way, as I said on the last podcast and this one too, it's a rare day for this dog to drink. So.
Well, it's actually a rare day that we all in the same room together. Because even though we still close,
it's been a while.
It's been a while physically for us to be in the same place. Yeah.
So it's good to link, and I'm glad that this has been the forum to facilitate that. So we're going right into gentlemen, right?
That's what she said.
Yeah, that's definitely what she said. So.
Yes, Navi. B.
By the way, my dog is most present in the background. So I might have to ever so often take a quick pause and quiet this dog down. We're running downstairs. All right, gentlemen, how are things these days? What are you all up to right now before we get into the whole... Well, let me give a background of what we're trying to get into today. So we are going to do a deep dive a sort of an analysis on how to navigate the music industry. All the transitions and on transcending you have to do while traversing this ever-changing industry that has been influenced by all sorts of factors, whether it be the economy, your location, or technology. So that is really what we want to do. We want to take these guys, their knowledge, what they experience and what they have come to know and learn, and pass it on to you, the viewer/listener. By the way, of course, Tips is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Video version is on YouTube and coming soon to Google Podcasts. But we're going to start at what going on with these guys now, just getting a general feel for where their head is at and what they're doing. We're going to start with, to my left, Mr. Rudder. What's going on these days with you?
Hi, good man. Just working a lot. I over the past few years, I stacked a lot of music, and I got basically, bro. The long and short is I untapped the Rudder boy. That's the best description I could give. And I just been getting more musical, training my voice more, understanding music more, understanding instrumentation more, and I'm just on the cusp of dropping. So soon come. Enough love, bro.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Mr. Mevon Soodeen. Same order introduction. We're going to find out what's going on. What's going on with you, sir?
Well, I've actually been quite busy for the past couple of months. Well, as you know, I've kind of transitioned into soca, right? I still do hip hop and parang and all these other genres, but I've successfully transitioned into the soca industry, and as the place kind of opening up now, obviously a lot of people be preparing for this next carnival now. So right now I'm in the process of building rhythms and pitching the rhythms to artists and getting demos done and that kind of stuff. Even preparing for Christmas coming up too, because I am anticipating that Christmas into Carnival is going to be a monster. In terms of all the events and that kind of stuff. I think it's going to be the wildest thing from December go onwards into February. I think it's going to be crazy. So I am just working hard behind the scenes, trying to get all of those material ready for when that time comes. That's basically it right now for me.
Sounds excellent. Going on to Braveboy, formerly known
as
Mark Hardy. Right? Let me get it correct. Mark Hardy. Mr. Braveboy, what's going on with you these days, bro?
Yeah, no, so the pandemic, it definitely affected all of us. And before the pandemic, I actually went to London to link with Mikey. And London is its own ecosystem, and it made me realize that the world is so global, as in there are so many markets in this world that I just got curious to explore all of them. So I came back from that trip, wanted to travel again.
Yeah.
And pandemic, you can't travel. So I decided one day, you know what? Why I can't travel virtually? And I started to tap into different markets, starting with the Latin market, which was the most open and still is the most open so far. The African market, which I love. I always wonder how come the Caribbean and Africa don't link more. Especially historically. It just should be happening, and we know that it's systematic wise now. We can get into that later. And that led me to other markets as well, Brazilian market, recently the Mexican market. So I've just been, I did a project called Braveboy Meets World. It took 2 years to do, and I released it under my own label, and it was trial and error, understanding every step of the way how an actual label does things. From, the creation process, to publishing, to masters, to licensing. So I think I've just been on that journey, and as an artist and also as an entrepreneur. And I recently just came back from Chicago, and that was a very interesting trip continuing that process. So that's been my journey.
Right. Excellent. So
That's real people clapping, by the way. That's not a sound effect.
All right, so let's go back in
Thanks, audience.
Let's go back in time a little bit. Are we in front of a live audience? You don't know. You don't know. Yeah, so let's take it back a little bit, gentlemen, and really start this case study on how to really navigate this music industry. So we're going to go back to at the cusp of Trapso. I remember going back to when Explicit really started the 2.0 journey.
Yeah.
Right? And I look back at all these things that you all have pioneered, like explicit radio. I remember when Aaron Fresh was in the studio.
Yeah.
All these different things that, you know, you all started to really get your name going. And then the first Power Rhythm, which was the explicit Christmas rhythm,
Yep.
there was a trajectory, right?
Yeah.
Then the trajectory hit peak when Mark Hardy, well, at the time,
Yeah.
Young Rod and Simba, produced by
Pumpin'.
Explicit Entertainment, released
Pumping.
Pumpin'. What was the feeling when that song released? We could go around the table. So let's start with Braveboy, this wrongs. What was the feeling? What was the mentality? And what was the, I guess, how did your mind start to change about all the feelings that you may have had about the industry locally, things going mainstream? Things obviously change. What was the mentality going forward at that point?
Well, I think the success of that song did not come without a fight. Like initially, when we did that song, a lot of people said, you're crazy to do hip hop from Trinidad. Hip hop will never be popular. All you're mad, while you're sing soca, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think, we just, as a collective, just believed, like we believed in it. And I can't remember who was the first person to play it, but it wasn't.
It was Red.
Yeah,
But I know Sachi
It was
the first
Sachi.
person.
It was Sachi.
Sachi, so
Yeah,
big
it
up
was
Hollywood
Sachi,
Sachi.
yeah.
But I believe somebody played it before Sachi, Can't remember.
It was
probably
no,
Boom or
no,
something
no.
like that.
I know exactly what it was. It was DJ Situation on
Situation on Slam.
But it
Yeah.
wasn't big in Tobago first.
No. We went to
That was
Tobago
not-
after.
that was not-
Yeah.
Nobody used to play it in Tobago,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mighty Crush, but that was after. That was definitely
So,
after.
so big up Hollywood Sachi.
Yeah.
I think he pioneered, he just championed that song, shit. I mean, and that is not, none of us are tight with him or anything like that. But all
He
those
just
people-
like it.
Yeah, people who like to say it's nepotism and this and that. It's probably the opposite.
It was.
And big up to that brother because he, without being close to any of us, loved the song and just championed that song and it just spiraled into a domino effect. One thing led to another and that led the whole series of hits. I would say hits.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I actually only one thing I maybe my experience was different. I actually don't remember. I don't remember many people fighting us before. I do remember people making comments, and there were people. But if I had to say the majority of people who I played that song for,
Yeah.
I didn't get much response of I crazy to do hip hop. I do remember one person in particular. I guess I wouldn't call names,
Yeah.
but somebody who's a popular manager at the time telling us he was nuts. Him in particular, no lie, not like I get motivated off a bad mind, but when he told me that, when he told us that, I just remember Doug,
You prove you wrong.
the whole world going to think you have a fetish for having eggs on your face after we done, bro. That's what I remember thinking, and so said, so done now. But in general, I remember feeling a real positive feeling around that time. I felt like we were on to the, to be in the shit.
Here's a question. Yeah, here's a question before we go to Mevon. And I'll ask Mevon this question. Is the perfect person to ask. Hearing that song, I, being a somewhat of a hip hop fan, would not call that song hip hop. So I don't think if I was being technical, I would have responded to it and say, "You're crazy to do hip hop in Trinidad," because that was not pure hip hop.
Yeah.
That was a fusion that worked in our cultural context. So I actually find it strange that
Yeah.
people would say you're crazy to do hip hop, because when I think about men who really doing hip hop, who at least who trying to do hip hop, I think about Arimon Censored, MC Ren,
Mike
Crazy
Wise.
Catastrophe, Mike Wise.
Yeah.
That is people trying to do
it's
pure
rap,
hip
it's
hop.
rap demand. It's
Well,
really rap,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, that one
Yeah.
but regardless, I still wasn't going to call that rap.
Yeah.
Because
No,
when I listen to
yeah.
Hardy, Simba,
Yeah.
it's not rap.
Yeah, he was
No, that's
reggae.
right.
He's not.
He was reggae.
Hardy had the first verse.
Hardy Haraga, yeah, correct.
That wasn't immediately rap. I mean, when you
yeah.
get to Rod, they can make an argument.
Yeah.
But if you listen to that song, the first thing that comes into my mind is not rap.
Yeah.
So Mevon, tell me, when you
Yeah.
heard the response of rap, did you think that people didn't understand what it wasn't trying to do?
Well, I would answer that question to give you the origins of the story of
Yeah.
the song itself. The song actually started off as a Simba song.
Right.
So Simba had a whole verse on it. And that verse ended up being the third verse. Pumping is
It's
a way of life.
Right.
And
Hans.
yeah, I'll give you even
Hans,
further
yeah.
backstory. So Hans was kind of managing Simba at the point in time, or kind of like mentoring him and have him under his wing. And Hans and Simba came to the studio, and when Hans heard the beat name was called Pumping, right? The beat was called Pumping, and Hans heard it, and he was like, he kind of heard the chorus now, and him and Simba was just singing pumping, pumping, and it's like, well, let's go with that, and let's run with that whole pumping idea. And it just so happened around that same time, I was working with Rod, and me and Rod became real close. And at the same time, Hardy was you came to do something
I
for
think-
individual.
Well, what happened is, and this is interesting with the pumping theme, right? So I was a committee member on Scotch committee, right?
Right.
And Hoppy had asked me to do a doublet for Scotch and Private Ryan.
Yep.
So I never went by Mevon Soodeen
Yeah.
properly to cut something. So I was like, yo, Mevon, I cut
We
this
did
thing.
the Scotch
How much
dub.
you charge, right? And we came to do it. And Scotch was promoting pumping. hard.
Scotch pump
Yeah,
machine.
Scotch
the
pump,
pumping,
yeah. Pump, rinse, repeat.
Yeah.
Right,
So
right,
it,
right.
All ties into the, like
Pumping was in the slang at the time.
Correct.
So obviously that's why my inspiration was like, I'll name the beat pumping. Pump was just the thing.
Yeah,
Everything
we went
was
pumping.
where the pump
And the
is, the
avenue.
pumping, avenue on the
Avenue.
pump, and
Yeah.
it's had that pump was the word. Right? So it just so happened that when I was kind of the marriage between these forces here because I used to work at Rudder and
Yeah.
then
Hardy
me and
come
Hardy
through with
became
you,
to
yeah.
do more professional work in the studio.
Right.
And I was like, hey, and at the same time I was working with Simba. So it was like I had this idea with Simba on the beat, but it was not finished song, just an idea. And I was like, hey, we did Otis together, the freestyle on
Otis, that's the
Otis.
first thing.
No, so
Yeah.
the first time
But that's 2
we
years
ever linked
before
up.
that.
So when I came
Yeah.
to the doublet, Mevon was like, yo, I have an artist I'm working with. He could come to the studio. I was like, yeah, no, see it.
Yeah.
And he told me it's Rod. I said, well, yeah, I've seen her stuff online and thing. Rod came to the studio. We cut a song and shot a music video. The first time
Yeah,
ever.
ever meet us.
Yeah.
And
So
that's how-
I think that is over.
Yeah, for sure.
Shillings and everybody.
That is different kind of work ethic.
I had a girl. So just so that one though. Video and
Video and song
Video
in the
and
same
song.
day.
and
the
video
same day.
video was
Yeah,
Salon,
in
video
the
was
same-
Salon.
No, we did it ourselves.
We did it.
We
iMovie. iMovie.
shoot and edit. We shoot
That
and
same
edit.
time,
Directed by Liz.
I just bought a Canon T3i. So I was now kind of getting into my little photos and videos for the studio.
big up,
Yeah,
big up.
footage of island people stuff.
Yeah.
Big up that Canon teacher. Right?
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
also my first SLR. Not my first camera because I don't know why I don't have it in the background. But it was also my first SLR. But it's not about me right now. So I move forward,
So that's how the video came about because I was like, yeah, let's shoot a video one time and the vibes was just right. So that's how I kind of brought them together. And then, as I said, I had this other beat there which was pumping and I had the kind of demo of Simba's verse, no chorus or something. And I was like, I played it for them, and next time I think, and they heard it and they did their verses. And I brought Simba in, and Simba sang over his verse at the end. And we were all in the studio. I think Raucus and all was in that session at time.
For real?
Yeah, I have footage of that. So it was like a big line because at the time, music was just fun. There was no plan. There was
no
no.
plan, it's just-
It was
yeah.
nothing but just vibes and fun. So that's what I'm saying. I went into all of that to say that we never really planned this out.
Right.
It was just
I didn't think-
totally
yeah.
organic. It was never a situation I'll be saying we're going to form this collective called Mark Hardy and Young Rod and go
Yeah.
with it. It was simply the right people in the right
Just good
space
en-
at the right
good-
time and good
good
energy, now
energy.
boy.
It did feel organic.
It
Yeah.
was.
It did.
Yeah.
Pumping felt organic.
From
Even
from
when
the
you shooting
link,
the video.
from the personalities being in the same room to the content in the song,
Yeah.
everything we sang and did on that
Yeah,
song
you meant it.
was what we was living at the time. now, boy.
No, nothing was a reach.
You know, so to answer the question, we didn't think about it.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
It was just
There was
organic,
no feeling. There
effortless.
was no. We had no motive. We had no goals. We just was putting out good
Yeah.
music.
So basically, the song was, you had a demo at least, and you played for a few people, and then they was like, nah, why they class it as rapping away, but they were really
no, we
incorrect.
never played the demo. When we did the song, we released the song.
Oh, that was
song,
it.
yeah.
The final song wasn't. It had no demo.
Then that's when people tried to.
I think from this, I think I would have gotten it the most.
Yeah,
'Cause
well, you would have known.
I
that.
was like, I'm a lime and a pump, so
Right,
I was
yeah,
out
so-
there all the time now. So like, I think a lot of people before that, I was doing like mixtape stuff with hip hop, like I did a
Crossover,
remix
yeah.
to, basically first Black and Yellow called Amatrini. And,
Yeah, I
so that's
remember
going
that,
on.
yeah.
So I think like the people definitely told me a lot of negative stuff like, yo, why you doing that? You look like a soca artist. Why you doing that?
That was definitely a projection because
Yeah.
there were a lot of people who really tried hip hop and were actually good, and they just.
Yeah.
And they
And the country didn't reward them. Like we said that. Like we don't say they failed because I don't like to frame it like that. I said I just feel like our environment didn't.
I would
reward them.
say right approach, right effort, wrong market.
Correct. That was saying our environment didn't
And
reward them.
I think that's a real thing. You know? I watched an interview with Sean Paul's former manager where they were asking him what is a hit song now. And he was saying what makes a hit song is the pulse of I want to say the streets. When you say the streets, it means people, right? The pulse of the people at the time, you know, what people talking about, how people feel, translated in the right way into art, into a song.
Is art imitating life?
Yeah, and I think you can see it with Zest, with
Correct.
Trinidad. That is the pulse, whether we want to admit it or not. And I think at the time, the Avenue and with, you know, the Avenue
Correct.
was a whole new.
It was new. It was
Yeah.
definitely new.
There was
But the
life.
people-
There
It
was
was
life.
definitely
When Zen Teleka again.
Yeah, Avenue was the place.
Actually, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Was that not around the time where clubbing was on the decline?
Yes, it was. The
Yeah.
Avenue killed
Yeah.
clubbing.
Right. but no,
I would argue that the state of emergency probably killed clubbing as well.
Well,
too.
well, yeah,
It's a mix-
it's funny
yeah,
because
mix-
it was
yeah.
around that time.
Yeah.
It was around
It
the stage of
was.
emergency
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
The first one.
Yeah.
The first one.
Yeah.
Right. So for the sake of progressing the conversation, because that was pretty good, and that what you said there with what makes a hit is definitely
Nah,
a
that's real,
clippable.
bro,
Eh?
like,
That's
that's-
definitely a clippable
Yeah.
for sure, right?
Yeah.
The-
I think
and
Steve
also,
Urchin,
also,
like Steve
also,
Urchin is the let me credit.
nah,
him,
but
man,
I go
but-
open the clip. But also when Mevon said music was just fun at that time.
Yeah.
Clippable.
Yeah.
All right. So Pumpin' has been released. I remember the music video. Fun. I was in it in my little Iron Man mask.
Yes, sir.
And
In amnesia.
Yeah, correct.
Amnesia, we got Adam.
And I mean, it's not about
Adam,
it's
big
not
up
really
the
about
Adam.
me, but you know, as a man pioneer when them can wearing mask in the first place, man.
No, but Jamil is it just goes to show even in the music video, bro. It was organic.
Yeah.
Organic, bro.
It was our friends
we should have
having
stopped.
fun, pumping. Adam was the house DJ at Amnesia at the time.
So we went there.
So we went there. We had
Gosh,
limited
limit a few
resources,
places, limit a few places.
limited resources, and we did our damn good. And shout
Gosh,
out
sure.
Justin,
Synod,
Hollywood
yeah, Synod.
Synod did the video. That was
Yeah, no,
our
that's
friend.
excellent.
And
was
he
excellent.
suggested Golden Cash, right?
Yeah.
Nah,
He's
that
like,
was
this
excellent
Cash
video.
show, yo,
And we played the song, and the song had real bass.
Yeah,
so
so
Dan,
that
when we
must have
played,
went
wild.
everybody was like, Dan, send me this, put this on our flash drive, send me this. And
Yeah.
everybody was playing the song.
And then Tobago. I think we mentioned Tobago in the song, right?
Yes, of course.
I think it was pumping in Tobago. Like
Right.
that song became an anthem in Tobago, and I think
Right.
that
I think
led
it still
to
plays,
now.
I think it still
Yeah.
plays.
There's Anna Boy.
So after Pumpin', correct me if I'm wrong, was Nah Boy, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Correct.
Right.
This one it became a little more
Nah-
strategic.
Nah Boy, really to me,
Yeah.
because people could have called Pumpin' a fluke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Nah Boy,
Was like, yeah, we here.
I not gonna lie. Even in the realm of visual art, when I saw the transition from Pumpin' to Nah Boy, I was like, all right.
Them fella serious.
Them
I
fella-
was like, all right.
Yeah.
I am happy this is happening. Because you know, all they know me, all they know I don't share nothing
Yeah,
that I don't
yeah,
like.
yeah,
And I remember when I shared, my was like, yeah, bro, coming from you, dog, I know you mean it now, dog. You understand? I know you mean it. Nah, boy was excellent. So, and you all made a statement, especially linking in Tobago, because, you know, Tobagonians complain about kind of being forgotten.
Yes.
And I found that was an excellent move.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell me how because you're also linked with a fashion or some sort
Yeah.
of lifestyle
Yeah,
brand called
movement
Tobago.
at the time it was Movement Big.
Movement Big.
I don't
Now
think
she
it
doing
exists
Kaiso
anymore.
Swim.
Yeah, Kaiso
Now
Swim
she's
now.
transitioning into bathing suits.
So I guess we can start with this song, right? So
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah.
So we had the time.
Before you go on, is it
Yeah.
her or the younger one doing Kaiso Swim?
The younger one.
Trisha.
I mean,
Trisha,
it's
yeah.
family.
Yeah.
Support everybody.
Right, so what I want to ask, so
Yeah.
now that you say Nah
Shisha,
Boy is
yeah.
more strategic, because that's really where I want to go. Again, we're doing a case study here.
Yeah.
Right.
After you all saw the success of Pumpin', is this when you all realize that, hey, this is probably a genre called Trapso that we are actually
I
pioneering?
don't think we name it
It was
Trapso
Trapso.
yet.
So then,
I
oh,
don't
okay,
think we
cool.
call it
Well,
Trapso
well,
yet.
talk to me, talk to me.
That was Roadside.
Yeah.
Alright.
I don't think we name it anything like Trapso yet.
No,
Alright, well,
you
talk
go-
to me,
you go-
talk to me.
I actually want to hear what you was going to say there.
No, I was going to say, at the time, after Pumping, we was
Yeah.
like, "Shit now."
Yeah, this yeah.
And
Started
I
to
think
raise eyebrows,
at the
like,
time,
this-
Rod went away.
Yes.
So visitors,
My ex.
at the time, right?
Who's still my real
And-
sister right now? Shout out Keisha one time.
Big
Yeah.
up Keisha, right?
I played a bit.
I had checked Mev, and I was like, Mev, we need a follow-up, right? And my friend Karen,
Correct.
big up Karen Lewis. who-
Karen was the inspiration.
Karen, yeah. He, at the time, people were saying, "But it's so nah boy."
And then all his
Nah,
sentences
boy.
with Nah Boy.
We still do it.
Nah boy, nah boy. Right? And
Come
my
now,
boy
boy, now.
Karen
Come now, boy.
challenged me, Jamil. He was like, "Can you do a local song?"
Like how like Jewel Santana.
Like
how
how
we
they
say we
have,
do it.
yeah, like oh boy,
Oh boy,
But
yeah.
nah boy. And I came and I checked. I said, Mev.
Yep.
And Mel was
That's
like-
where it came from.
That's excellent, Oz. That's
Mev
excellent.
say less.
Say less.
And then me and them stood down there and then, nah boy. I was like, Ruds.
They call me on
FaceTime,
FaceTime,
FaceTime Ruds one time.
yeah.
And I think it was just it's just organic shit. Like it was just having fun, not studying, but more strategic in terms of we realized the local slang works. We realized that the combination of Mark Hardy and Young Rod works. At the time, Simba, he was busy. He had stuff going on. So
which is why we didn't even perform this song together.
Rod and I ended up performing, pumping, going on synergy, doing gigs together now.
Yeah.
So it ended up being Mark Hardy and Young Rod.
And Simba was from Rio Claro.
Yeah,
So like he was kind
of
of
pick farm up there and thing there.
Yeah, distance, and he was going through something too.
Yeah.
Putting his personal life. And
That's all
like,
about slipping
that's
pick
how
farm.
Naboy, we actually had the footage of that on Instagram. Like Naboy just got birth there. And
You know what's the funny thing about this though?
yeah.
And I'll cut you there. When we released Now Boy,
Yeah.
right, on the radio, the same Hollywood Sachi,
Yeah.
right?
So the mix.
City Mix was off.
Off, yeah.
Yeah.
So he loved pumping and he was solely responsible for really blowing it up and hyping it. But when we dropped Now Boy, he messaged us back and he's like, boy, I checked that mix.
No, he said on the
Said
radio,
on
bro.
radio,
He
he
said on
said
the
live on
radio,
radio,
dog.
But we
yeah.
still, as we talking mix, we had to big up Jan.
Jandre, of course. Jandre was my
because
everything.
He's definitely part of the team, Jandre Diaz.
Yeah.
Jandre is definitely somebody who added that extra technical
To the
sauce
team.
to making the song. Because with his one name, people said, this no song local.
Yeah.
Sonically, no. And I think Mevon is a genius when it comes to the production. And Jandre
I'll
added
give
that-
myself a shilling.
Yeah. Jandre. Me and Rhodes, we do a thing.
Of course,
But
of course.
I had to big up Jandre too for the sonic sauce that he put in that shit. I could say yes, so that.
No, go through.
Oh,
Go
okay,
through.
yeah,
You're free,
yeah.
free
No, but
now.
even as a producer though, like dealing with Giandre, it helped me a lot now because even while he was a mixing engineer, he taught me a lot about productions and where I could, before I even bring the product to him, he showed me ways in which I could improve even before that now. So he helped me with my production about what tones to use and how to structure the beat and what not to do and layering vocals and all these kind of things. And so like, big up Giandre one time, I mean, he was solely responsible for the sonics of all the songs that we did. For
Shout out
sure.
Dre,
And it's like,
formerly known as Dre the Figure.
Jerry Pitt. Yeah? Oh, yeah.
Oh, what?
No, and
Ice boy.
outer eyes.
I'll take that scrums.
But what I was going to say is that one thing before we move on, I do want to say one thing, right? As organic as it was, and Mevon and Hardy can attest to this, it wasn't that light to me. I firstly took it real serious,
That's very
and
true.
I also
very true.
advocated before Pump and Drop that was going to make us monsters, and they was
That's
like,
very true.
they were like, I don't know. As a matter of fact, I believed in us so much, right? I don't know if the guys remember this, but actually we initially had a follow up the same year for Pumping called GT. It was initially supposed to feature
Yes.
Sean Nebula.
Yes.
And Isaac was begging to put that out. And
If
he was
I'm not
like,
mistaken, it was supposed to be Nebula on a whole. The both of them. They
yeah,
both
yeah,
came in
yeah,
the
that's
studio.
true.
Yeah.
But Sean is
Sean
going to
only
send back a
did the
verse,
yeah.
right? And in that, shout out Choppy, who's Choppy now, hey Choppy, right?
Yeah.
And at that time, Mevon there was a lot more fight down in music in general, and Mevon Hardy was under the impression that if we drop a song like that, especially with the message of Get Through, they thought that we would be that people would feel like we reach.
Yeah.
So they actually fought me to release that, which made me release, ironically, my mixtape Roughed Off Some Portuguese, which was she did my own first music video for.
Versace.
Ratans, yeah. That's what led to Ratans. I would have never done Ratans if you all didn't turn on G2.
Everything is happening for
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then with Naboy, right? When I heard Naboy, when they called me, I was like, dog, we are going to. I just remember hearing that and thinking, like, dog, we are going to slaughter everybody, dog. Like, this is gunshots. This is AK-47 blast, bro. I knew that we was going to.
I'm upset that I didn't upload more.
Now that he said this, I remember how positive he was.
Yeah, no,
he
I
was
really believe, bro.
definitely the one.
And I would say it was needed because, and it just gave a little background on. So, I think I was the most out there of the three of us.
Facts.
And
Yeah.
that was a good and a bad thing. The good in terms of I had some connects.
You was just
But
you was getting the brunt of
I was
all
getting
negative
bullets
feedback.
now.
Yeah.
And it's like, I remember performing in Woodford. I did the Woodford Cafe circuit, right? And nobody else was doing hip hop, maybe Chromatics, right?
Sure,
And I
Chromatics,
remember
right.
being the only hip hop artist on a soca cast and performing, and everybody just watching me like, yo,
Silence. Yeah.
I saw you in the club last week. What you doing, bro? You know, like, why are you doing this? You know? No, like, I remember I was a socialite.
Why are you
and
doing this?
It come like, it's in Trinidad, the dream is being popular, and I technically I had that. So people was like, yo, why you risking your popularity to be a rapper, bro? Right?
A rapper.
A
rapper, bro.
So I think I used to get a lot of the negativity
For sure,
coming at
for
me
sure.
like, bro, why you do it? What is this? Why yo, bro, sing soca?
I used to, don't get twisted though. I used to get that too, you know. The difference was this now, is that like, especially when we had the early stuff, I used to get that a lot as well. I used to just tell people, nothing lasts forever, bro. I've actually, I used to tell some people, I actually witnessed firsthand, as I've been in the industry 30 years, I witnessed firsthand the evolution to what soca became in the 2000s. When people think it was like that in the 90s, it was not. I watched it change. And at the time when we had what we were doing, I knew that was the foundations of something different. As a matter of fact, to be real specific, in 2011, when me and Hardy met, I spent that entire life, took a year off of life. I didn't work, I didn't go to school, nothing. My whole year was honing my talent to be able to make what I had palatable to Trinidad. That entire 2011 before I met Hardy, when we did the Dotis remix. So I knew there was this little signs I could have seen. I was like, this feeling like that time. And even back then, people would talk shit on others who wanted to do something different to like what soca was in the 90s compared to what it became in the 2000s. I just knew that all that talk about, oh, they shouldn't do that, and oh, they should try something else. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Well,
after I heard Pumping Beat, after Mevon called us for Pumping Beat, I'm like, this is it.
No,
This is the one here.
Another artist, me as an artist, is the first time I understood the power of the streets.
Right.
Not the radio, not the powers that be in the radio, not the stakeholders, the streets.
Yep.
The streets, effed with pumping.
Yeah.
And
You can
shit-
say though.
I'm
You
not
can say
telling-
though. You can say though.
Let-
You can say it. It's not a. It's not a.
Oh, it's not the streets fucked with pumping.
Don't worry, when we pitch him, we go
let me-
censor. But
I can
the-
give a
the
quick
thing is
story.
censored. Yeah, sure, of course.
Your boy used to do Roscoe's on a Saturday with Mikey.
Correct.
I used to have to organize the DJs, make sure everything's set up one thing. The DJ now starting to play. A man drinking from early, you know, there's always had out of time.
One.
Come up to the DJ booth, grab the mic. So DJ come to me like, Marcus, this man. So I said, bro, as a promoter tonight, you kind of out of time, man. Just tone it down a little bit. Who is you? I said, bro, he said, let me take this outside. The man big. I big, but this man like big head. And he said, who is you? I said, well, it's Marcus as the promoter tonight. He's like, no, who is you? I said, well, as Mark Hardy, I sing pumping.
Okay.
You sing pumping, that boy.
I remember that.
Yeah.
The man moved from
Instant.
wanted to kill him.
Yeah.
Just
Fun.
sign
Fun.
more
Buy
autograph.
bottles.
Yeah.
One more quick story, Jamie.
Fanning.
I was outside Zen in the burger. Big up. I think it's Nadine's burger.
Yeah.
Zen burgers, dog. No, I'm not a stereotyping profile type, right? Big up to my brothers, but the type of image of a gunta.
Yeah.
Right? Some guntas approached me by the burger stand, and I was like, shit, I'm gonna get robbed. And these, you know, the
Yeah.
5 pita, 3/4,
Yeah,
passing
yeah.
the legs in
I mean, listen. Judgments are. You don't have to condemn
It's
anybody,
real, right?
image, but judgments are. I would have think the same thing.
But I reached there, but you see the rubber slippers.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a little. That's a little.
And
That's
I
so
say,
lit.
shit.
That's it.
They walked here. They
Shit.
walked
And
here
I'm
for sure.
funny.
They living right
Same
here.
thing. And my boy, who is you? I say, well, artist, you know, Mark Hardy, so and so.
Yeah.
He goes, listen to all your boy. You know, we know steal a painting from the museum. You know anybody who will buy it? The moral of that story was
Still up painted from the
it
museum.
gave me a whole different respect for the street shred and the real people, bro. Because
No, still
let me tell you something, Jimmy.
That was a genuine laugh.
Let me tell you something. Like, the,
So
Us.
maybe, so
I
wait,
was
maybe,
gonna say, I don't remember the story at all. This is hilarious,
no.
though.
Just know.
Tell them that.
Maybe they didn't come to rob you. Maybe they come to sell you the
yeah,
painting.
no. They came to buy, I guess they came to the burgers, maybe to buy a burger, I don't know. But they see me and they watch the profile and they're like, who is you? And then I say, you know, and they was like, bro, we from the beat town and we just listen to all the right time. You safe, you good. And at the time I was promoting and the streets was really effing with us, bro.
Yeah.
And I think it gave me a whole different, because I know from the streets, bro. I
Yeah,
got
yeah,
married,
yeah.
Right?
None
And
of us.
And none of us, right? But it gave me a whole different respect for the ground now. The power is in the ground now. And that's what I was saying. Pumping, Nah Boy, any other success we have.
Open the doors. Definitely open the
The
doors first.
ground is responsible for that.
The ground.
Big up to the DJs, big up to everybody else. But when I say the ground, the people was really fucking.
The everyday
Bacardi,
man,
yo,
dog.
and
The
everything.
everyday person.
And funny enough, you see security guards, police.
Them's the biggest fans.
Dog, I get pull over that roadblock. And the man watched me and he was like, Bacardi. I was like, yeah, go.
Wow.
That is a clip of us. That is a clip of us.
They got the cops.
We do a dubplate for the Coast Guard.
Yeah.
We do
Yeah,
a
that's a
dubplate
fact.
for the Coast Guard.
For Coast Guard Sports Day, bro.
Sports Day.
Bro,
No,
but these,
yeah.
do people know these things? I don't know
Nah,
these things.
nah,
Bro,
nah,
hold
nah,
on. I'm so happy y'all talking this.
Dog. I ain't gonna lie to all you, dog.
Yeah.
I just do soca and thing now, and I just do doublets for real DJs and thing. But I think the most doublets I ever do
Was
as a
fast.
producer was for Pumping and Nah Boy.
But yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Dog.
yeah.
That should have plenty,
Dog,
bro.
we do real doublets for that song, you know. Them two songs.
Us, we in Tobago. We come out for the we had police escort in Tobago, me and Rod.
Yeah.
Police escort in Tobago. Talk about the smoke weed with Jack, yo.
Yeah, bro. Bro, Jackie is a man. Jackie is a man. We backstage with Jackie, yo, like we burning our weed. I just see our man just bust through the fucking door, looking around like this. Literally, no joke. He's like, and he's like, "Wait, boy, we sorry, we not smoke on the weed." And he just looks so deflated. He's like, "Wait, boy, about you know."
No, and I would remember one thing that stood out to me, and this is the last thing I'll say of this, right? Ataclan had an event in Coco Lounge,
Yeah, big up Bataclan.
right? And Tej was there. This before Tej was Tej. This
Tej now trying to boost on the scene.
Tej performing and everybody like,
Yeah.
you know. And Tej is the next person who grind. Like, I have so much respect for Tej.
Yeah, I mean, I witnessed that firsthand,
Right.
so
Yeah,
yeah.
of
And I
course.
remember, like, I grew up, like, Ataclan is one of my idols, yeah, Treason, and they performed, right?
Bataclan is a.
You gotta get him on this podcast.
Bataclan is a pioneer.
He will talk the things.
He will
I
talk the things.
wish.
He will talk the things.
Ataclan is
Yeah,
Ataclan is a pioneer. Let me say this.
Yeah.
Ataclan is a pioneer, but we'll move on. Yeah.
Right, so that just real quick. I leave in Coco Lounge and thinking, yo, I just saw my idols and I got to be, I had a picture with all of us, and to me that meant something. Like, it's like KMC, people who I grew up looking up to, tell me, come in the picture, you know?
Right.
And I leave in, and a man was like, horse use Mark Hardy? I was like, yeah. He's like, horse use my idol, right?
Yeah.
And big man said, that man would probably pass me shit.
Yeah.
Because at the time, it's hype, right? But that shit really resonated with me in terms of music is not just about making music, man. It have a higher purpose to this thing. And Trapso served its purpose in terms of giving people hope, patriotism. Just
Hope
at
that
the
it could
time,
hope
yeah.
that it could work in Trinidad.
And it can be done.
Yeah, like could
That
be done.
because
No,
that's
no.
what I felt.
No, hold on.
That's what I felt.
Can I just say this?
Sure, sir.
I
Sure,
wanted
sir.
to say this, right? One of the reasons I don't know if I'll see it and I watch back at the camera, but I saw dead face is that in that same like excitement I had beforehand, I wasn't necessarily excitement. I believe because I worked it out logically. All the things that happened after, I saw it coming because I used to tell them, man, one thing that was different to us, I used to tell Mevon and Hardy that was different to us about us was that we were giving people other reasons to be proud to be Trinidadian. Like how we were approaching the music, we were still keeping things local. We were making it, and how we were making it cool was saying, hey, we do this shit, bro. This is nice. This is shit that we can talk about and be fun with now. And what I think, even though we call it Trapso and it was kind of hip hop based, that's like one of, in my opinion, right? It's my humble opinion. I'm not saying this is a fact. That's one of the best evolutions of Kai. So I've seen in a while because we was talking about our everyday life in
social
Trinidad
commentary.
and it's proper social commentary, but also we were promoting things that made us us. And I used to tell them that is what's going to sell us. I was like, no matter what you all men say, I said after a while, when they start videos, I say, oh, they go see. Oh, they go see, Jet. And
that's true.
all that stuff.
Rod was definitely the number one
they
most
run
positive
job by the
person.
time.
Given he put all in that jar, dog. You don't care. Nice his job, jar.
And I think that was important now because, as I say, different backgrounds. I come in from, I get a real fight down. As I said, they give the background on somebody who was a socialite and they're like, why are you doing this? You know?
Yeah.
It's almost like it's stupid for it's like a downgrade.
I think
Yeah,
popular
yeah,
do that
no,
like
absolutely.
what
You're already
Girls
popular,
follow.
no
And why
girls,
you want
why-
to start from scratch and, you know?
Yeah.
And I think Mev,
I was
more-
in corporate, remember? I was in
Right.
corporate work. I was
Corporate.
IT and thing. Yeah.
I think Mev was still more optimistic than me about it. And then Rod was even more optimistic.
Optimistic, yeah,
I think
Rod was-
I never said this before, so I'll actually say it now. Let me tell you what made me so optimistic, right? This is what happened me at a high level, right? 3 things. One, Mevon was smart enough, dog, to take the happiness of Trinidad people and say, that's trap needs happiness on it. So that's the first thing. I was like, that's real logical. That's definitely going to work.
You know, I
Then-
didn't think of that.
Right? I didn't even realize
I
it.
didn't. Yeah, this was not premeditated
Right?
at all.
but
I thought it was.
The tones.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah,
you
the
saying
tones
that.
in particular.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about. Yeah, right. You do that on purpose, and I
Yeah.
was like, that's genius. And then what I knew is I knew that from the jump that I was going to be hard to be palatable, but I knew as like in my mind, I was like, bro, no matter what people say, I'm going to be the first Trinidadian rapper, dog, that people actually could sit down, listen to, and also respect me lyrically, but also feel like they could like me commercially, but it'll be hard to digest. And then the missing piece to make me accept it was him, bro.
Yeah.
Brave's voice was kind of already accepted and cool, but he had it in a unique way. And his delivery of things was such a what I would consider to be an extremely high level, which I didn't even think he really appreciated about himself back then. He used to say, I'm unique. He used to just say, I'm a unique guy and I'm different. But it was powerful uniqueness. And when I saw that, I'm like, people are going to just listen to that tone of voice and the incantations of how he approaches the lyrics, and they're just going to like it. And then they're going to come with, there's a rap on this.
Yeah.
And so said, so done. Like the 3 combinations, I was like, that's already going to work. And then the lyrical content. The content, I was like, dog, it's
And the
unbeatable.
topics too, yeah.
It's unbeatable. It's unbeatable. I knew it. I knew for sure.
I say to this day, see, once again, security guards,
Police.
we police to this day.
Yeah, bro. Well,
That's so strange. That's so
Nah, it's
strange.
interesting, but
Yeah,
they are huge fans.
That was a
bro.
clippable though.
Yeah,
I know this
yeah,
was a
yeah.
clippable
Nah,
for sure.
that's-
Respect. Well, fellas, I mean, we had to get into the analysis here now, right?
Don't know.
So there was. Now, I first of all, let me say it live on air. First and foremost, I was a fan, dog, and I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you why I was a fan, dog, right?
Respect.
Because when I saw the effort boy, that is really what sold me, right?
Now let's just say effort.
Effort.
I'll show you something a lot of people don't know about
And
the
it-
effort before you get into the
It's
analysis.
supposed to be like Jamil.
Boy, at
Hardy,
this stage,
Hardy don't care,
there's
That the
community
community
communal jar.
Yeah, the community job for sure.
You say effort, right? And a lot of people may not know this now, but every Thursday, Jared, we used to work.
I know that.
Every
I know that. I
Thursday,
remember that.
We had a solidified day
And
to
it
be
was
in the
Thursdays.
studio. And that effort, where you see those couple songs that we released within that 5-10 year span,
Happened on
right?
Thursdays, basically.
That happened because of us being dedicated then I was working, right?
I know that.
I was working at the time. And I used to be in the studio 2-3 o'clock in the morning with them fellas.
Yeah.
And waking up 6 to go to work. Right? Every Thursday, we used to be in the studio working on songs. We have songs that are unreleased, bro.
Absolutely.
A lot of it.
And a lot of it. I know what? I'll say this. Shout out to Jimmy and Naj. That back then it was Yogi, right?
Yeah,
Right.
Yogi, yeah.
I remember that's when Kevin and I had now started shifting to Diego Martin. And I remember Jimmy and Yogi say they had a session. They just went to one of the sessions
By
on
us,
Tuesday.
yeah. That's what we did. Isaac
right.
Trini.
And they said, yo, Rod and Hardy and Mevon are working, dog. Them men just wants the chorus just laid on. And we were like, nah, we bullshitting right now, dog. I remember they telling us that. That's why they kind of wanted to, say, all right, we want to kind of live in the studio and really get things done and things.
Yeah.
I mean, things work out work.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But I remember them saying that specifically. And I remember after they said that. Now, I was always paying attention, but I remember after they said that, it's like, I talked to Kevin and I said, yo, bro, we need to work with who working.
Yeah.
And I mean, I remember after that was his scene.
Yeah.
I was hyped to be in the music. I telling you, I was like, yo, I miss out on this fucking boy music video, boy. But me as a recluse guy, but still. But going into the effort, so we saw situations where we had Boy, I believe after that was Woozy Scene.
Was it scene?
Yeah.
I believe after that was the one with Abdiel.
Nah, after that was the one with Kevin Carter,
Well,
the beach.
I think
Beach,
we
right,
could,
so
we,
Beach.
we could, sorry, yeah, Jimmy, we could touch on what's the scene because I think in terms
Right.
of strategy and in terms of production
Because
value,
we went to the EDM, a little bit of EDM vibes there.
No,
Kevin
but-
did the EDM
so
stuff.
Yeah, I know Kevin did the EDM
Kevin
part,
did
but that I feel like that was
But even in terms of, we started to think strategic in terms of, let me get a local, well, we had the local designer from the one before, but that happened by fluke.
This was
Yeah, that's
DL,
right.
This was,
DLR.
this was to Move and Bigo.
no, we talking about was the
Was
scene.
scene.
That was the
Yeah.
scene.
No, but I say like,
Space Boy DLR.
because of that experience with saying, yo, having a local designer is dope, we actually strategically went behind a local
We became
designer.
more and more strategic
Yeah, we
as
became
it
more
went
and more.
along.
Good,
Everything
good,
was
we
more
got
like
so-
a-
so
we got
right.
a car, we
From
got-
So now-
what's his name again?
Wayne.
From Wayne.
Right, so- so-
we,
so-
we
big
pay a lot.
Big up
We
we pay.
so
Yeah,
right.
that
So
would be one
excellent.
time.
So there's an excellent question.
Yeah.
What did you all see the value in having a designer? What was the value in
Remember,
spotting the looks?
the intention was to make Trinidad be cool, right? So we were already doing that with
The
the,
music.
the Sonics was the first thing, the Topics was the second thing. The third had
The
to be like
visuals.
they had the visuals. Yeah, the visuals was another one as well. That's very true. But the next thing had to be that like you don't have to necessarily go and buy Adidas, bro. You could get something real hard that you like to wear and go out in from right here now. And
It's funny
Clippable.
because Hardy wearing his
Clippable.
Braveboy.
Yeah.
Clippable.
You win.
RBN, which
RBN.
is yeah.
I
And you
rep in
Don't
my
make more. Don't make
explicit.
more. Don't make more.
Yeah,
Don't make
we
more.
still
Don't
doing
make
it.
more.
Yeah.
Don't
And
make
then
more.
other
Don't
shout
make
out
more.
in that boy video, we are not addicted to progress.
Yes, it was.
We are addicted to progress, shameless plug.
Yeah,
Shout
yeah,
out
yeah.
UTP one time.
No, but it just goes to show how this was like what?
Tom
10 years,
DeMarco.
12 years ago?
Yes, probably
10 years
not,
ago?
probably not.
Right?
Yeah.
We still live in this life, dog.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Clippable.
So like we not trying. We wasn't trying then, and we still not trying now. Now we just being ourselves.
You're not trying to be
And
international.
Yeah, we are trying to be
I would
a
say
thing.
something here. Whether people admit it or not, the artists out now were influenced by us.
When it, ooh.
I don't care what people say. Whether people
Nah, wrong place, bro. Wrong place.
No,
Nah,
bro.
this is communal jar, dog.
Bro.
I played the real thing in comedy, nah, bro.
They saw us on Synergy. They saw us, whether they want to big us up or not. We influence a lot of them.
Nah, I want to say one thing when they say that, bro.
Stop.
Right?
Stop.
Hold on, no, wait. Let me say this. I have to say this.
Say it.
Right? It's the real truth. I've had the opportunity to meet quite a few either established or up and coming Trinidad artists, bro. And honestly, bro, that experience, that way you felt 7 years ago is how I felt for the first time in the past like year, 2 years. When it's been like, dog, use Young Red, bro. I was like, dog, I love you. And I was like, what the fuck you telling me here? Sorry for my language.
No,
but
no,
it
go
just
through, go
teeth
through.
my head now, boy. Like, so I've actually seen it firsthand. I actually think some of them very open to giving us the props and admitting that they were fans.
Yeah, no,
You know,
for sure.
real talk.
You know what?
I'm so
Yeah.
happy
Yeah.
Braveboy said that because I feel like there was a time where he might have been a little hesitant
To
to
say
say
that.
that.
Yeah. That was like, woo, man, it's jumping on.
Is the big up Angus?
Big up Angus to rap.
Big up Angus for the confidence.
Yeah.
Confidence by
Confidence
Angus. So we
booster.
get money from Angus yet, but confidence definitely by Angus.
But I mean, I've as Rod.
In retrospect, you can see it.
Said, no,
You
but
can see
it. I don't wanna lie.
They've told me, bro.
I don't like.
Yeah, they
I
say
don't
it.
like
They
to
say
Some
it.
people have told me that, you really are the reason why I do music. You all are the reason why I do music. And
I still don't like to say that about myself.
You,
so
you,
Yeah.
you know what was the funny thing about that topic there is that we all have three different experiences of people saying that you inspire them now. Because
Yeah.
as a producer, I'm the producer in the team, right? I anytime I have to verify or speak on my productions, I always go to they ask you, so where you produce something? And it's be like, well, Mark Hardy and Young Rod. I'd be like, they'd be like, yeah, you do that? I'd be like, yeah. I'd be like, yeah, I do pumping, boy, that whole situation and thing was like, you lies, you do that, do you real bad dog? And obviously, the whole mood has changed after that. No?
Yeah.
Because it's like, suddenly you don't know why I am. Because remember, at that time too, I was behind the
Behind
scenes
the
guy.
scenes,
I was
correct, yeah.
more
It was
the
in
Quincy
vid-
Jones of
it was,
them.
it was
now.
in the videos, yes, but it was still Mark Hardy. and
Nobody
Young
knew
Rod,
who
so
I
obviously,
was,
yeah.
really. You know what I'm saying?
Mevon Mikey.
Yeah, it was just the two Rastas.
Yeah, Rastas always doing the slow motion peace signs up. 2MV. 2MV
Big up
always.
Adam too,
Big up Adam. Yeah, shout out to
yeah.
Adam. I have a funny story with Adam. It's totally unrelated to music, yeah, but I'll big up Adam.
But it's just funny how when you mention the work that you have done, that I have done with them, and I say I produce Pumpin, I produce Nabo, I produce Isaac Trini, and all of these local hip hop or Trapso, as they call it, how the mood has changed now.
Correct,
how the whole
of course.
attitude has changed. And it goes to what Hadian was saying, that the inspiration behind a lot of these new artists and producers. They may not have said it then, but they definitely were inspired by now.
Nah,
Yeah,
and
I was
like
definitely inspired, and
Is it work ethic
you know
too,
what?
yeah?
I wouldn't even say inspired, because I am a soul where I don't really get thrown off my reels for nothing unless it's detrimental. But here's what I would say: y'all did something more important for me. Y'all provided hope, dog. I'm not gonna front. For me, I saw hope on the horizon for appreciation of effort, dog, because I still find that even now, effort is not what gain is. Hype, substance do gain, and I
Facts.
genuinely believed. I genuinely believe that when I saw Naboy for a second, I'm not even gonna lie, because people don't like to say this. People don't like to say this. I have no problem expressing my feelings. I was like, bro, I am envious that I am not part of an organism that is doing this.
You will, by extension.
No, don't get me wrong. I was always doing my thing in quote, because I was trying to pioneer something on another end. But again, today's not about me. But I when I look at that, I say, yo, I remember talk, because it was really me and Kevin who started the 3 a.m. talks. I was like, yo, Kevin, like this, it's real bad, dog. Like they're not, no accent, even in Rod rapping, it's not, you know what I mean? Rod and trying to sound like a New Yorker. I was like, yo.
People, you get real final with that too.
Yeah, obviously, but what I'm saying, right, I again, it's a totally technical eye. Bro, ATVs, location, Tobago.
Jimny.
Bars, dog.
Dog, we
Jamil,
rolling in Tobago, not Jimny. How more Tobago you could get in that?
I want to say two things here. Now, let's see not different hardy Braveboy here.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Ah. Okay, so.
Look at who doing rap now in Trinidad. And tell me they're not inspired by this man.
Facts.
One. Right?
Name a, Rod had to give me the nods. Name a rapper that ain't influence.
Was the second point is going to
No,
make
but Ariel Trapso going on right now.
No. I'm gonna say that. I told Ross, I said I hear a lot of people right now basically doing what he was doing 5 years ago.
No, basically between both of y'all, honestly, and even the fact that, don't get me wrong, it's still an extension of what y'all did. I mean, shout out to everybody who doing it, but from the time you start anything anyone with the word trap and add something Caribbean, that's all you. It don't matter. That's all you. That's all you. I hate the fact that people is saying something like this as shade. This is not shade, though.
It's not shade, it's facts.
This is not shade, though. This is a sequence of events taken chronologically, though. Or let's start trap chronological. That's all it is, though. It's just chronological, though.
I just do want to say that one of the reasons that that's not shade is I did it for that purpose. At that time, like most people don't know this now, but unlike Mevon Hardy now, I do have a legacy weight on my shoulder. I don't admit it, but I'll say it openly now. I have a legacy weight on my shoulder. And one legacy, I do believe that a son repeats often a lot of what his dad does. And my father also beat people fighting out his sound. Like when he came out, they said he wasn't Calypso. So at the time, my intention was to show men that they could do it. So they do sound like an evolution of me, but that was the point. I was there to show it could be done. I'm proud to see it happening, and it's not no sun and shit, bro. It means that it fucking matters now, which was the big thing. We matter, and that's what's important. Just want to say that.
All right.
So if anybody wants to take any shady ideas, they know that.
Now, I hate
we don't operate that way here.
I hate
bro.
the fact that
Two.
Yeah.
I bet I got a shot before I say two.
To get anger story, we need that top up.
Hold on.
We did an icy top
We need
up.
that ice top up too,
Yeah,
man.
ice top
That's
up.
two real important. Huh?
Hold on, the Hardy.
Hold on, huh?
Testing 1, 3. We not
Hold on.
testing.
We not just two.
Go through Hardy.
Reverb in your hole.
It's getting serious.
Two. Right? Give me that reverb. Not 2 there. Give me
Two.
Nah. That's
Go ahead.
Two.
Yeah.
Two.
Oh, you are reverb too.
Yo, we can say this as a collective, have never paid to get airplay.
Facts. I take it on.
Nah. You get Dumb the Marco.
Have never kissed ass.
Facts.
Have never begged for airplay.
Facts.
Right? They could not fight us, bro. Here's here.
As they say it, I jump in.
Here's here stories that it had a meeting. They called me into a meeting in the station to talk about never. Right? Whether, and as I say, this big man talk, right? Whether it is because of your father influence, whether it is because of respect of what we're doing, they have never done that. We earn this shit 100% ourselves, right? They cannot take that away from
Actually,
us.
I want to say something. I want to say something.
It was
based on that.
organic.
You say this one. You say this one thing. And we gonna make a little break, but this is going into the part two. So yeah, so go. Say what you had to say. We taking a small break here. Fuck it up.
Yeah. Right?
Let me get a reverb.
My father did not support me, and it was very felt. So it definitely wasn't my father's clout. As a matter of fact, I found people used to like to take pride in saying,
He's rather son.
No. That too. But you singing that, you ain't gonna do it. I used to watch them like, your mother cunt? Sorry for my language again, but alright, we go fucking see about that one there, bread.
Hold on, wait till that.
Your mother cunt? I bet. We will see. So even what he said there about the father thing, that was actually I think people wanted me to fail because of that.
Facts.
I used to feel that energy. And it didn't help. It didn't help that he was showing very little public support. So yeah.
I know, but bro, Jamil, I can tell you, these are my witnesses here. We have never paid to get radio airplay.
I know to know.
We had 4 years. I don't even fuck what people say, right? 4 years of success, which is more than a lot of people. And
Consistent success.
Consistent success doing something that's not common in Trinidad, bro.
Wasn't done before, I would argue.
I would say 5, bro, because even though I don't know if you all feel the same way, but I genuinely feel like Mood is our biggest ever song.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Dog, and
By far too.
who samples a soca, 90s soca song in modern day time?
And we'll get to that. I remember that was a scene too.
Yeah,
So
big up system to it.
Big up system. So folks,
Yeah.
excellent conversation. We're not done.
We can get more ice.
We need
Ice
ice.
break.
But we're definitely going to get more ice.
And a cool
And
we
we're
dog.
going to be right back after these messages. I mean, who knows, I might plug a sponsor side there.
They got bangers to
Anybody who have a little business, let me know. We go plug a sponsor.
We apologize for the
expletives.
the expletives.
Nah,
It's
but-
explicit.
Explicit boy.
Explicit boy.
So we're going to take a break, get some ice, and we'll be right back with these boys, and we're going to take it. We're going to take it away.
Pause on that. Be back to these boys.
Pause there, boy.
It's too much vibes, you
So
don't
we
know?
take it. So we taking it from the beach to Mood to Don't Blush Baby. Because I'm telling you, as a fan, I know the tunes.
Yeah.
I know the tunes. So we're taking it from there, and we're gonna really.
You know what that's done?
I know about that too.
Oh, fly like Biwi.
Fly like Biwi.
They don't know.
DDI?
Yeah.
But Fly Like Biwi was a song, and you turned that into a lyric. Not so.
What is that?
Fly Like Biwi, you didn't say that in pumping.
Nah.
What song is that in?
Nah, I ain't say.
Nah, it's a song we had.
We have a song called Fly Like Biwi, though.
Which could still drop
but
today.
I feel like
I'm
I
sorry.
hear, but I feel like
That's
I
the
hear that
relevance.
dog.
No. I did a remake to Touchdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I use the BWI artwork.
Oh, we had a whole song called We Fly Like
Why
Biwi.
did I feel like I see that dog.
Yeah.
Fly like Biwi.
Anyway,
Every
this
time
is
you
the
see
this
me.
is the informative podcast series, and we off with a
Bang!
bang, dog.
Big up DJ Pun.
My word, we are off with a bang.
DJ Pun, bang!
But we're not done. We'll be right back. Respect.